Hi, this video is a case study of a mid-latitude cyclone. And so I've gone back to April 2nd, 2014, and this is the weather map for that day. We'll start out by looking at the weather map over the next couple of days here. So what you can see is a front wrapping around like this, and this is a stationary front. So you can see it alternates the blue and red symbols for the different fronts around it. So that's a stationary front. It's not moving very much. We have some different air masses. Up here, we have some cold air. This would be continental polar air, so that's cold, dry air. Down here, we've got maritime tropical air, so that's warm and moist. And then over here, it looks like we've got some warm and dry air. This is probably continental tropical. And at first, we've got some low pressure here. You can see the isobars are these brown lines here, kind of wrapping around. But this is a pretty vague low pressure system. It hasn't really gotten going yet, but this is where it's going to start to form. So our mid-latitude cyclone is about to begin. So we'll go to the next day. And what you can see now is that these things have started to move a little bit. So this warm air is moving up this way. And when warm air is encroaching on colder air, we have a warm front. So there's kind of a broad warm front forming over here. And we've got cold front activity over on this side of the low. So the low is getting organized here. It's not really too strong yet. But it's going to be forming right in the area around Nebraska here. And the cold air is starting to move across this way, so that's a cold front that's forming over on this side here. Now, when we go to the next day, the 4th, now you can see it's really gotten organized here. So we have a pretty strong looking low right over here. The isobars are wrapping around that. We have a strong pressure gradient. So that means the air is trying to get into that low pressure area, but it gets deflected by the Coriolis effect. It ends up spiraling around like this into the low where it gets lifted up. And so we have air rising up, and that is going to expand and cool and reach the dew point temperature, and we'll have clouds and precipitation as a result of that. The cold front is really well established here, so this cooler air is moving across here. You can see a broad area of rain ahead of the cold front. And there may well be thunderstorms and stuff that are going to form along that boundary. The warm front is extending over this way, and it's slowing down. You can see it's kind of stationary over here, but the warm front's slowing down. So the cold front is going to start to catch up to the warm front. So the warm front is here. That's where this warm air is moving up over the cooler air up in this area. So there's some precipitation there, and there's just general precipitation all around the low up in this area here. Okay, let's see what happens as we move on to the next day. So here we go, and now the low has moved all the way up into Canada. And you can see it has, the warm front is still over here, now out over the ocean. The cold front is running here along the east coast. And up here, the process of occlusion has started. So the cold front has caught up to the warm front, and it's lifted that warm air completely off the ground. And so this is going to start to cause the low to dissipate a little bit as the warm air is completely lifted off the ground. Eventually, that becomes a stable situation. Behind the cold front, we have high pressure and subsiding air, so this should be a nicer day over on this side here. We can go one more day here. We'll see the low moving off the coast here, still occluding over here, and you can see the cold front well off the coast here, high pressure moving out in that direction.